Welcome to the deep dive. Thanks for joining us. You've sent over some really interesting pieces about career changes, specifically focusing on folks coming out of government jobs and the military, and looking at franchising.
Right. It's a path that comes up quite a bit for that group.
Yeah, so our mission today really is to dive into this material you sent. We want to pull out the key insights, help figure out if franchising is genuinely a good, fulfilling option.
Sounds good.
What jumped out at me right away was this idea of structured independence. That seems like a core theme, especially for people used to service environments.
That's definitely a central point. Franchising has this kind of unique mix, doesn't it? It offers the autonomy people often crave after those structured roles.
Right.
But it doesn't just throw them in the deep end. It comes with a proven system and an operational playbook, if you will.
So not starting completely from scratch, more like a head start.
Exactly. Business ownership, but with guardrails and support already built in.
Okay, let's dig into that then. Because one thing that comes through loud and clear is the transition itself. It's not always smooth sailing moving from government or military into, say, corporate America.
No, it often isn't. There can be a disconnect sometimes.
Yeah, like their skills, their experiences, maybe not fully understood or valued in the same way in a typical corporate job.
Right. And that can lead to feeling a bit limited, maybe wanting more direct control over their work and their impact.
That desire for autonomy seems key.
Absolutely. I mean, think about the kind of responsibility many have held. Managing people, big budgets, critical missions. Moving to a role that feels less impactful or where the connection between effort and outcome is less clear, that can be, frustrating. They want to see the results of their work more directly.
And that's where franchising comes in as this promising alternative, as the sources put it. That phrase, in business for yourself, not by yourself, keeps popping up.
It really captures it, doesn't it? You are the boss. You make the calls.
But you're not alone in the wilderness trying to figure everything out.
Precisely. And what's really interesting is how well it seems to align with the strengths people from these backgrounds bring. They're driven, capable, but they also get the value of good systems, clear processes.
Right, they understand structure.
Yeah. So franchising offers that balance. Lead your own thing, but within a framework that's already proven to work.
Okay, let's talk specifics then. Those strengths. The materials list quite a few. Discipline and accountability are right up there.
Foundational.
We can all see why that's good for business, obviously. But maybe unpack that a bit. How does that specific kind of discipline translate into being a successful franchisee?
Sure. Well, the discipline from service, it's more than just following rules, right? It's about meticulous execution. It's about attention to detail, really understanding why procedures matter.
Okay.
In franchising, that means consistently applying the franchisor's model, doing things the right way every time. That leads to efficiency, consistency for the customer.
With fewer mistakes, I imagine.
Exactly. And ultimately, a healthier bottom line. It's bringing that ingrained sense of responsibility to, everything, every part of the business.
Makes sense. Then there's adaptability. And interestingly, the ability to follow proven systems. They sound almost opposite.
Yeah, it seems that way at first glance, but it's really about adapting within the system.
Okay.
Think about military operations or government work. Things change fast. You have to implement new directives, react to unforeseen issues, but you do it within the established protocols.
Got it. Learn quickly, adjust, but stick to the core plan.
Exactly. And that's perfect for a franchisee. You need to embrace the system the franchisor provides, but also be nimble enough to handle the day-to-day stuff, local market changes, staffing issues, whatever comes up.
And managing people and resources, that seems like a direct transfer. The scale of responsibility in their previous roles must give them a huge leg up.
Oh, absolutely. Leading teams, sometimes in really high-pressure situations, managing budgets, logistics. That kind of operational know-how is incredibly valuable when you're running your own shop, especially as it grows.
And resilience. Problem solving under pressure. That feels like a superpower almost, honed in those environments.
It really is. Look, running a business, any business, it's going to have its challenges. Things will go wrong.
Yep.
Having that ability to stay calm, think clearly, find solutions, and just keep pushing forward when things get tough, that's a massive advantage. It's that grit that service often instills.
So it's not just wanting something new. It's that their existing toolkit fits really well with what franchising actually needs.
Precisely. There's a strong alignment there.
Okay, so let's circle back to that independence with a safety net idea.
Mm,
The support structure, training is a big piece of this.
huge.
The materials mention extensive training operations, finance, customer service, the works. What does that actually look like? How does it help someone, say, coming from a purely operational military role, suddenly run a retail store?
Right. Well, franchisor training is usually designed to be really comprehensive. They know franchisees bring leadership, discipline, but maybe not specific industry knowledge.
Okay.
So it's often a mix. Classroom stuff, maybe online modules, but also hands-on experience, often working in an existing franchise location for a while.
Learning by doing.
Exactly. For that military officer example, they learn the nitty-gritty of inventory for that specific retail model, or the customer service scripts for a cafe, or the software they need to use. It's basically a focused business education tailored precisely to that franchise. Gets them up to speed fast.
And it doesn't just stop after week one, right? The ongoing support, that network of other franchisees, that sounds like something you definitely don't get starting an independent business from scratch.
Oh, absolutely critical. That continuous support is key. You usually get ongoing training updates, access to field consultants, marketing help, and crucially, that network, other owners who've been there, done that, they can share tips, troubleshoot problems, offer mentorship. It's like a built-in advisory board.
A peer group almost.
Yeah, exactly. A built-in community with shared challenges and goals.
And then the resources themselves, the documented best practices, the roadmap. It's like getting the answers to the test beforehand.
Well, maybe not quite the answers, but definitely the study guide. The franchisor wants you to succeed. Their brand depends on it.
Right.
So they provide the playbook. Proven systems for hiring, marketing plans that have worked elsewhere, operational checklists refined over years. It drastically cuts down the learning curve and the risk.
It sounds like a lot of the back-end stuff, the things that can really bog down a new independent business owner, marketing campaigns, maybe tech platforms, supply chains, that's often handled or supported centrally.
That's often a major benefit, yes. By leveraging the franchisor's scale and expertise in those areas, the franchisee can really pour their energy into the local execution. Managing their team well, providing great service, building relationships in their community, focusing on their specific location success.
Okay, let's shift to control. That autonomy piece, coming from potentially very rigid hierarchical structures. The idea of setting your own goals, managing your own schedule more, seeing that direct link between effort and reward, that must be a huge draw.
It really is. Think about it. Many people in service are driven by mission, by seeing the direct impact of their actions.
Yeah.
Franchising gives you that. You put in the work, you follow the system, you see the results in your own business. You're steering the ship, even within the franchise framework. You decide on staffing, local marketing pushes, community involvement. There's a lot of ownership there.
And maybe escaping some of the downsides of big organizations, like endless performance reviews or the fear of layoffs based on decisions made miles away.
That's a big one, too. That sense of stability, knowing your success rests primarily on your own shoulders and your ability to execute a proven plan, that's empowering. It feels more secure, in a way, than being subject to corporate reshuffles.
Right. Okay, the power of proven systems. We keep hitting this, but it seems central, especially for this group. If you thrive on structure, on knowing the right way to do things, stepping into a business where that's already defined must feel, I don't know, comfortable.
It really does. It resonates with that mindset that values efficiency, order, clear protocols. Military and government roles often train you to operate effectively within complex systems. Franchising provides a similar business system. It allows them to deploy those organizational skills they already have, just in a new context.
So less time spent figuring out the how to hire, how to manage stock, how to deal with customers. The basic blocking and tackling is already mapped out.
Exactly. The franchisor did the trial and error. They invested in figuring out the best practices. Franchisees get the benefit of all that R&D, essentially. It lets them focus on operating well rather than inventing how to operate. Minimizes costly mistakes.
Now, here's something maybe less obvious, but the sources mentioned it: community. Camaraderie. It's not just a business deal. There's often a real network among franchisees.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be underestimated,
Right.
especially for people leaving service environments where those bonds are often incredibly strong.
Right, that sense of team, shared experience.
The franchise system can replicate some of that. You have regular meetings, conferences, online forums, places where franchisees connect, share advice, help each other out. It combats the isolation that entrepreneurs can sometimes feel.
Sharing tips, maybe even collaborating on local initiatives. Sounds pretty supportive.
It often is. And for veterans or former government folks used to teamwork, that collaborative spirit can be a really welcome part of the transition. It feels familiar.
The whole franchise ecosystem, as the material calls it, sounds built on that idea of shared systems, shared support, mutual success.
Well, think about it. The franchisor only truly succeeds if the franchisees succeed. Their royalties, their brand reputation, it all depends on the health of the individual units.
So it's in their interest to foster that collaboration and provide strong support.
Exactly. It's a fundamentally aligned model.
Okay, let's touch on the money side. Obviously, a big driver is building a profitable business, achieving financial independence. Franchising is presented as a viable route to that.
It certainly can be. A successful franchise can build real equity over time. It becomes a tangible asset you own.
Right.
And the potential for growth, maybe even multi-unit ownership down the line, offers a path to significant financial security that might be harder to achieve in traditional employment. Of course, there are costs.
Yeah, what are the key financial things to look at?
Well, you've got the initial franchise fee, build-out costs, working capital needed to get started, then ongoing royalties, marketing fund contributions.
So due diligence is crucial.
Absolutely crucial. Understanding the full financial picture, the potential ROI, the break-even point, that's homework every potential franchise needs to do thoroughly.
And for veterans specifically, the materials mention things like the SBA Veterans Advantage Loan Program. So there's targeted help available.
Yes, definitely. Many franchisors offer discounts on the franchise fee for veterans, and government programs like the SBA one recognize their potential and offer favorable loan terms. It acknowledges the value and discipline they bring.
Makes sense. Okay, last big theme, purpose. This feels really important for people who've spent careers in service-oriented roles, finding meaning in the next chapter.
It's often not just about the money. It's about feeling like you're still contributing, still making a difference.
And franchising can offer that. How?
Well, think about what franchisees often do. They provide needed services in their community. They create jobs for local people. They get involved in local events, sponsorships, maybe charitable work.
Right, becoming part of the community fabric.
Exactly. Building a business that serves neighbors, supports families, contributes locally, that can absolutely provide that sense of purpose, that feeling of mission, just in a different uniform, so to speak. It aligns with that desire to have a positive impact.
So putting it all together, the skills alignment, the independence with support, the structure, the community, the financial potential, and this sense of purpose. It really does paint a picture of franchising as a potentially really strong fit for this group.
I think that's fair to say. It leverages what they're already good at, provides the support where they might need it, and offers a path to entrepreneurial success that seems to mitigate some of the risks of going it completely alone. It's like a bridge.
A bridge between a life of service and maybe a life of entrepreneurial success.
Yeah, that's a good way to frame it.
Okay. Well, if this deep dive has got you thinking, and particularly if you are a former government employee or a military veteran considering what's next, we definitely recommend reaching out. George at myperfectfranchise.com, the sources highlighted his work. He offers personalized guidance, helps explore transition strategies, looks at specific franchise opportunities that might fit your background, your goals, and importantly, his service is provided at no cost to you.
That's a great resource to be aware of.
Definitely. So maybe the final thought to leave you with, mull this over. How could your unique skills, that dedication, that leadership you honed in service, how could that translate into building your own successful business, your own franchise? And what kind of impact could you make as a business owner right there in your own community?
Yeah, it's a powerful question. Definitely something worth exploring if you're at that crossroads.